Too many miles behind me. Talk to me tonight. Too many trials are true. I said too many tales tell me to remember. Come on, man, wave your hand. There is too much to give. I want to sing it again. To Lord, too many miles behind me. No matter what you go through, too many trials are true. I said too many tears help me to remember, but there is too much to give to Lord. Do so. Said across the hard burning desert. Sometimes I struggle the right road to choose. Oh you do, but somewhere over there there is cool, clear water, and the sea is one word. I don't you emancipation for how you do. I said too many sons lie beyond the mountain. I said too many rivers my feet have walked through. I said too we have done. I'm waiting over yonder. Oh, there is too much to give to Lord. Can I testify? Said across the hard burning desert. Sometimes. Say you struggle the right road to choose. I said somewhere over there there is food, clear water, and the sea is what. Come on, we have done. I don't know. Who am I to look for your name now? He laid his hands on me. He laid his hands on me. Christ laid his hands on me. Who am I to see Jesus went and died on the cross? Up on the cross, he died up on the cross. He died up on the cross. Sign up me name. We have done. Jesus to stand me way. You stand me way. Sign up me name. How you do? Jesus to stand me way. Sign up me name. Emancipation for. How want you look for your name now? I have been through the storm, but it seemed like forever. One minute tonight, for your night of confusion, wake up, and been on so long. Can I testify? For your ship has lost anchor. Everybody, for this storm got you gypsy. Everybody do so, everybody, for your night almost over. Tell me something, he can ride out your storm. Everybody, say ride out your.
Ride out your storm.
God is there with you.
God is there with you.
Singing you may not feel it. Singing you're not alone. I say you're hurting now. can ride out your star.
Oh God, stand there. I want to bound for the better land, for the better land, bound for the better land. Oh yes, oh yes, my father. Heaven is my father's home. Heaven is my father's home. Heaven is my father's home. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Christ lead me through no dark that he went through.
Good night to you, Grenada, Carriacou, Petit Martinique, the rest of the Eastern Caribbean, wherever you're listening, locally, regionally, internationally. We say an absolutely special good night to the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. They're just on the cusp of a day that they would prefer never had happened. I don't think anybody would want that to happen again. Yeah, tomorrow will make it exactly 1 year since Hurricane Beryl. So indeed, we had to start with gospel tonight. If just for the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique, we had to start with some gospel tonight. What is moth? This moth flying around inside here. Watch yourself on a moth. Yeah, nice, right? Yeah. Yeah, left the insect screen open, you know. And there I we say good night to all of you joining us on the YouTube. All of you joining us via the Facebook. All of you on 91.9, 91.5. I'm not too sure yet if they have joined us tonight. We were having a problem on our end, so they had to disconnect for a while. I'm not sure if they've reconnected. And good night to our We Noise family. Good night to you, Wade. All right, we have a call. Hello, good night.
Good night, Mr. Scott.
Hey, how you doing?
Not so bad, brother. And how is you and how is your family?
I is okay, man.
Bless, man. Bless, man. I want to say my condolences to Mr. Alvin Dabba, first of all, to his dear sister passing.
Yeah, I was just about to get into all of that before the call. Yeah.
Yes, and I understand one of our colleagues up so in St. Mark's, Miss Joseph. I think they are Joseph. One of the family passed away as well too, and condolences to them. And then I want to say my sympathy to the young man that lost his life too in St. David's. I know his dad very well, but it's a sad tragedy. But what we go do? That's life. I think the young men and them, especially because even I was by outside of the road at Go last night, and he had some stabbing there as well.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
And one stabbed one in a bottle, and they were just joking one on. I don't know what's going on with these young people, Sheldon. I don't know what is going on with young people.
The thing is this, and we have to admit this, that over the years we've had these incidents happening from time to time. Now, what has to be done is that there must be a strategic, a carefully planned, a group of individuals who really care about young people to go into
That's a fact.
communities and work with these young
True.
people, to work
True.
these situations through, so that instead of pulling a knife to stab somebody, they would try to resolve it. They say, well, let me go and take a drink and sit down and talk about this thing. Let us go and reason it out. You understand? Instead of thinking that the first thing to do if you have an issue with somebody is to pull a knife and stab them, that there's conflict resolution, there's anger management. You see so much anger in some of our young people right now, and there are various factors towards that. While you know what it is to know that you're looking for a job, you can't find one, but every time you listen to the radio, you hear the people on the radio saying everybody had job and youth down, employment down to nearly nothing. It frustrates you, it gets you upset. There are many other factors, and sometimes they have issues at home, and I'm not saying any of these are the reasons behind what happened there.
That's true.
I'm
That's
just
true.
saying that there's a lot of anger, and you hear it when you
True.
speak to them. You see it in their interactions. You know there's a lot of anger. And unless you recognize, address, and then put programs in place to deal with, I'm sorry to say, but this is not the last one we're going to hear of that sort of situations. I'm sorry. I pray that it is. I pray that we don't have any of this happening again. But unless this situation, the causative factors are addressed, you're going to end up with the same situation happening again. Yeah?
Because right about now, I think there are some of them, they locked up there waiting for trial. And they maybe, I don't know if it's tomorrow or Friday, because I don't know. But Sheldon, to be honest too, we have a lot of mechanism put in place under the NNP, the power program, and all this program, and these men and just get rid of them program. So the youth and them have, as you rightfully said, they have nothing to go by, nothing to really stand on.
That is why you had programs like Project Fly,
That's
fostering
correct.
level-headed youth. That is what Project Fly was a program that targeted young people who may have been violent or have the tendency to become violent, those that come from difficult households, those young people in different situations, and in specific communities where you have that sort of thing coming from, to target those young people and to provide opportunities for them. That is why you had different components of even the same money they run them out on. Long before you sent those young people on, you had sessions in working in groups, you had them with anger management, counseling, those sort of things.
That's correct.
So did that
That's correct. I know that.
before you sent them out. Yeah?
Yeah.
So there were several areas that these young people could have received help. Now you have a bunch of people saying, we's youth, and we know everything for young people, and we're doing this and we're doing that, and it is not reaching the young people that need to be reached. So you have a serious problem taking place there. And unless this government realizes saving young people is not about talk, it's not about putting on fancy clothes and going on TV, it's not about jumping plane and going here, there, and everywhere. It is about actually going into the communities, sitting with them, talking with them, interacting with them. It's not about going into communities and say, well, I go buy a case of drinks for you all and I buy a half bottle. It's not about that. It is going into the communities and actually listening, interacting with, and hearing these young people. Don't just listen to them, hear them, understand where they're coming from.
That's true. What is the problem?
Yeah, so
But Sheldon, again,
there's a lot behind this. There's a lot, quite a lot.
We have a leader too in this country. He's not playing an active role. As a prime minister, you're supposed to be playing an active role. You're not doing anything. Things happening in this country and you don't hear him speaking about nothing.
My friend.
So I asked myself the question, does this man really cares about the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Pitimani? Does he really care?
I may not be able to find the pictures now, but I could tell you. I know of situations where previously, when there were problems, for instance, between town and Grenada and so, and I'm not, again, none of what I'm saying, I don't know what caused what happened last night to happen.
That's true.
So I'm making it clear, none of what I'm saying, outside of their causative factors, none of what I'm saying means that these young people that were involved in it came from a bad home or anything like that.
That's true. That's
There
true.
are causative factors that need to be dealt with. Previously, I know Dr. Mitchell brought those young men into the Prime Minister's office. Some of those young men say, listen, They never thought in all their life that they would have gotten to come and sit in the Prime Minister's office and speak to him directly about what is going on and what they're going through and how they feel. They never believed that they would have had that opportunity. They got that opportunity during the time of the New National Party. Yeah, they got that opportunity. So we have to understand that we're dealing with young people, and also understand that we don't understand. That we need to speak to them and get an understanding of what they're going through. The first part of it is to understand that you don't understand. That's the first part.
That's true.
After that, you start to work.
Another thing I want to speak about again, Sheldon, too, in terms of these statutory bodies that we have, like now as the Lottery Authority and all of that other thing. I was listening to a program today, and I understood that from the program that WFM also is cut off from that statutory bodies, right? And they're also practicing to get rid of it out of WFM. Mm-hmm. And they say because of the teachers that, the media that stand up and say, well, look, no. But I think the media should not only stand up for WFM. WFM is a wonderful radio station, no problem with that. It also is my relative, Alvin Dabro. But I think so that if you're standing up, you stand up for the both radio station. Right is right. And this kind of dictatorship that Mr. Deacon Mitchell want to run Grenada and think he want to just do what he want. It's not so. Grenada, all of us are Grenadian at the end of the day. We live here, we pay tax. We travel on buses, we travel on plane. We pay with tax. To come on the airport, you have to pay tax. To go to the grocery, you have to pay tax. So it's not a stranger. We all are Grenadian. Why doing these things on them? Why? Why this man is going after this man and them? Because they're speaking out for righteousness. Because things that you are doing wrong, and you try to admit, but I have made some mistakes. I have gone wrong, and to rectify the wrong, you're trying to pull the radio station now. Come on, man. You got to do better than that.
But
even now, I'm not going again. Even
friend, you really expect it differently? You see, one of the reasons I don't get disappointed is I don't expect a lot from these people. So they don't disappoint me. I can tell you that, yeah, they don't disappoint me because I don't expect anything a lot from them.
This man's motive is not to really tell people or to give people any motivation to go further. Their motive is to pull along people. And I seen that. Because you're not speaking out, you're not talking, you're not edifying, you're not building up, you're not strengthening. You just do what you want. Because you're Prime Minister of this country. Another thing I understand again too, they want to get rid of this. Well, it's no longer, you're not swearing to the Queen, allegiance to the Queen no more. To Grenada. Mm-hmm. But I ask the question here now. Let us say we do this. Because they're also talking about a referendum, or they should, if in case they want to have a referendum, or they should not have a referendum. Because I will listen to Mr. Cloud. But let us say you did this. Wouldn't that bring a big impact on us from England? Whereby we might have get help from England.
All I would say
when we're doing things better.
All I will say in relation to that is that as it is right now, I know that a bill has been circulated. I have not been been through the bill myself, so I will reserve comment on it for now. But go ahead.
I know. But someone that was listening because someone was reading the bill. Someone had the bill and was reading.
Yeah, go ahead.
And they was reading the bill and they saying, look at the situation. Right? Mm-hmm. And Mr. Crown speaking it and so forth. But the point I'm making, Sheldon, with this, why not go to the people? If you want to do things like this, why can't you go to the people? Why can't you go to the people and hear the people cry on this? Then you just want to do what you want because you're in power. You hold the keys of reign so you can do what you want. Is that how we run a country? That is what is the best way to run our country? By your own approval to do what you want? We all are Grenadians. We're supposed to hear from every side. Whether opposition, whether the Prime Minister, we're supposed to listen, we're supposed to hear. And to make our own judgment. But these people, I don't believe these people cares about Grenada. I don't believe, Sheldon. Well, Sheldon, I don't want to take much time because other people got to call and I want to listen to the program tonight because you just make some valid point and I want to make sure I put my point on them in the exercise book. So when I come next time, that's what I do. When I listen to EFM and I listen the classroom and I listen to others, I have an exercise book and I write in. And I take in valid information. So I don't want to keep the people time because other people have to call. Have a wonderful night and keep on doing what you're doing, my brother.
No problem.
May God
Thank
bless you and give you some long life as you continue.
All right. Thank you so
And I want
much,
to
my brother.
I want to say good night to my lovely parliamentary representative, Dr. Modest, and my prime minister for the next general election, our honorable sister, Emlyn Pierre. Have a good night, brother.
Indeed.
And all the other colleagues, have
Thank
a good
you
night.
so very much,
Listen.
brother. Yes, indeed.
You're good.
Yes, indeed. I forget the calls, pause the music, yeah? Yes, indeed, folks. And yes, the phone lines are open, 14734407377. And I was just going to get into that before the caller called. We want to send out our condolences. Why am I doing that? I want to send out our condolences and to Brother Alvin Dabrio on the passing of his sister. And again, we want to send out our condolences. We did it on Friday, but we want to do it again. Send our condolences, our continuing condolences to our sister Brenda Hood on the loss of her son. So Brother Alvin Dabrio has lost his sister. Sister Brenda Hood has lost her son. And indeed, the families there in Mamakan who have been affected, Moyaki and the whole family, Adana, everybody, affected by the loss of your son, your brother. It's a sad one. I looked at GBN News a little earlier, and there's a certain part in that story that water come to my eye. Seriously, water came to my eye because I have not heard, online or otherwise, a single person had a bad word to say about the young guy that died. None. Not a single person. Everybody describe him as a hard-working, caring fella. You always willing to help, everything. And knowing the community, knowing the family he came from, that is exactly the type of person I expected him to be. I saw the picture and I didn't realize until late that I knew who the individual was. So it's, I mean, I looked at it and believe me, that GBN News story in relation to that killing, I've seen many stories on GBN before in relation to murder, and this one actually brought tears to my eyes. I'm telling you that. Yeah, I'm definitely telling you that. And I'll say, it's not that you're blaming government or you're blaming this one or you're blaming that one. The time you're taking to blame in a situation like this, we could be saving our life. And I'm saying that the present administration needs to understand that youth development is not about sitting in an office and every now and again going on GIS and bring a camera to say you're doing something for young people. Youth work is not about dressing nice and going out and saying, I's a youth officer, I'm a youth officer, and so. And the young people, the people in general that were trained during the time of the new national party, they know what youth work is and they know how to do it. But if they don't have the guidance, if they don't have the structure to work within, you can't blame them for not being able to achieve the magnificent things that they were able to achieve before during the period of the new national party. You can't blame them for not being able to achieve the same things. Yeah? You just cannot blame them for that. Because, I mean, sometimes I think one of the problems that we have always had, and who want to vex with me, I don't really care. But one of the problems that we've always had with the new national party is that we have never blown our own trumpet enough. We've never blown our own horn enough. And I say that taking blame, because people like me should be talking every single day about some of the achievements. Because, for instance, let me just pull up a picture here. Let me pull up a picture here. Yeah, I'm trying to find a particular picture. So let me pull up a picture here. And when you pull up a picture like this, And I want you all to tell me where you think this photo came from. What do you think? This photo is not NDC rally. This photo was in 2007 at the Lassa Just playing field. And that's just one section of the crowd that was there. That was the Lassa Just playing field in the year 2007, when the Ministry of Youth, under the guidance of a lady by the name of Emmeline Pierre, then she was Senator Emmeline Pierre, held a youth gospel rally, religious rally. All the churches came in and so on during that function. And I'll explain this picture, Dr. Mitchell, to you all in a little while. Because if you all look at the van that's in that picture, you'd realize. If you all look at the van in that picture, you'd realize that picture is from a long time ago. That PM5 in PM in again. Yeah, that's from a long time ago. And that is actually in the fence in Happy Hill. And it was after Hurricane Ivan. Let me just get the photos in order here. Let me just pull this out. Yeah, that was after Hurricane Ivan, when a group of us, as young people, once again, under the guidance of Honorable Emmeline Pierre, went out and did a house construction for a gentleman. Young people, all of these are young people. These were young people under the age of 30 that were there doing this house construction for a gentleman who was, I think he was in a wheelchair. Yeah, he was differently able. He had a funny foot from since he was born. Yeah? And this was the house that we went and constructed for him in 2007. We're still building back 2005, 2006, and so. No, this was 2006 when we were doing that house to that man. Yeah, and it was one of quite a few that we did. And this was the National Prayer Service of the Department of Youth that Honorable Emmeline Pierre led. Of course, Dr. Mitchell spoke at that. You could tell the date, the 22nd of July, 2007. Yeah? And for those who wondering where Emmeline Pierre come from, you see she 10 commandments on the ground? Watch it. I show you only for spite. She 10 commandments on the ground. And this chap here was funded under the Grenada Youth Enterprise Initiative for a farm. So we were on his farm. That's Miss Halley that was there along with us. She worked at the Ministry of Youth at that point in time. No, I'm holding on the call, so now we're going through these. Let me just mute. I'm holding on the call for a little while. Let me go through. Because when I stop, sometimes I just lose it. I'll take your call. You can call back. Yeah. So this was on the farm that this young man had. I believe, if I remember correctly, this was in the Pearls area. He had a farm in the Pearls area. He was funded under the Grenada Youth Enterprise Initiative. And Honorable Emmeline Pierre, then Senator Pierre, went up, down to the farm, because we had to go down in the river, and you could tell who nearly fall. Anyway, went down in the river again, 10 commandments. This was way back in about 2006, 2007. So she ain't just reaching the thing. She ain't just reaching the thing. And excuse the quality of the photos. These are not my original photos. I had to pull these out from a folder there. But these are not the original higher quality photos. Yeah? This was the team of young people for organization we call Spice Youth Promotion that were on the house. And you could tell young men as well as young ladies after Hurricane Ivan building back homes for people. Yeah? Building back. This was just one of at least 6 or so I could remember. One of the members go message me and remind me. It's about 6 at least that were built. Yeah? It's at least 6 that were built. So when you're speaking about youth development and young people, for instance, we have this young man. I know a lot of you all will remember this young man, because he's still around. Now he ain't riding horse these days. But this piece of equipment was funded through the Grenada Youth Enterprise. They say, we never do nothing for agriculture. This young man did organic farming, and that's Ryan Smith. He's the one that does the horses and so now. And he was funded under the Grenada Youth Enterprise Initiative to buy this piece of equipment that he used to till the land in the area that he had his farm. Yeah? Again, the team at the Ministry of Youth at that time, meeting, that would have been 2006, 2005, 2006. The then team at the Ministry of Youth, when they were meeting to strategize, to strategize, Imani trainees out on a project, so the Imani trainees were not just going out on job sites, but the Imani trainees, and something is giving me some feedback here, and the Imani trainees, the Imani trainees were out there as well, doing the work. They went out and did community projects. So they went out and did community projects in different areas, either clean up and so. Honorable Emlyn Pierre again, she was reviewing some stuff here. And again, WhatsApp call, I'll get back to you all when I'm finished with this. She was out there. That was a, parenting program. Because the parenting program started actually under the Ministry of Youth. And these were some of the things the ladies under the parenting program had done. This was one of the closing ceremonies for one aspect of it. And this is one of the pictures I'm speaking about. Honorable Emlyn Pierre is most pregnant there. And you see my Royan is there. You see Devon Phillip, who has been on this program, where he was giving his story about his life and how he ended up not being able to move anything under his neck. He's in the wheelchair down to the end next to Royan. That's Jenna Charles, who was one of the project managers there. That's Teron, and that is supposed to be Vachel. Teron, a young man who had spent a significant amount of time in prison for the same kind of thing that took place yesterday. And the friends tell him, go ahead, boy, do it, do it. And then when he go and he do it now, he end up in a situation where by the time he turn around, and he pushed the knife and he turned around, all the fellas who was there with him telling him, do it, disappear. And then you have Vachel here. All these guys who changed their life around, I don't even think Vachel is in Grenada right now. But some people talk youth work, and some people do youth work. Some people talk youth work, and some people do youth work. And if you're doing youth work, I'm not saying you're going to stop 100% of what's going on there. But if you have one young person who may have done something like that, and you got to that one young person and changed their mind, you've saved a life. Folks, the phone lines are open again. 1473-440-7377. Let me reopen the phone line. Yes, the phone line is now reopened. So, the caller wanted to call a while ago. You can call now. Let me just... And let me send a special good night to you, Mrs. Maureen McPhail. Moms! My God! Mr. Hudson McPhail, how you doing? Mommy Maureen, all right. God's blessing shower upon you. Yes, indeed. I'm just giving the caller a chance to call back before I start to play some clips there. Because there are some questions I want to ask tonight. I think from 9 o'clock we're going to start to play some clips and things. So, caller was calling a while ago. You can call back now. apologize, but sometimes I just don't want to break the flow when I'm dealing with a particular issue. Sometimes I just don't want to break the flow, yeah? Folks, and we need to understand as well, yeah. In the U.S. right now, they've got what they call the big, beautiful bill. Yeah, a wonderful, big, beautiful bill. Yeah, they've got the big, beautiful bill. And again, before we get into the big, beautiful bill, hello?
Sheldon, just cover for 1 minute.
Well, not 1 minute, 30 seconds because you had a good while earlier. Right. So go ahead. Mm-hmm.
This wonderful clips and them you just show us a while ago. But we can put them together and put it up on Facebook and all about. Let the people see because they say we never do nothing. They say we never do nothing.
As I said, I take blame.
Yes, let me put it up. Let the Grenadians see that we have done a lot.
You know that is what the Friday nights are supposed to be about. But I am not in a position now to access. That's why the quality of what I showed was so low. Because where I am, I do not have access to the originals right now to do it properly. Yes, so I'm working on different aspects of it. So believe me, it will be coming out. But caller, you had quite a while ago, so we're going to talk. Okay?
No problem. Have a good night.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Yeah, so I'm saying that in the U.S. right now, in fact, I believe the Senate met on it. I'm not sure if they finished and if they made any changes to that particular bill that was being put forward in the U.S. right now. But we need to understand that there are consequences to us here in Grenada, several, but one of the main ones is that it will affect the issue of remittances. And some people say remittances, and people may not understand what you mean when you say remittances. By remittances, I am directly referring to the money that your relatives send for you back in Grenada, or in Carriacou, or in St. Vincent, or in St. Lucia, or in Barbados, or St. Kitts, or wherever you're listening to the program tonight. The money that your relatives who are based in the United States may send back to you. Now, if your relatives are not U.S. citizens, they face a dilemma. The dilemma that they face is that the U.S. intends to impose a tax. Let me see, what is the percentage again? 3.5% tax on all money that you're sending down via Vimo or Wimo, whatever they call it, these different things, and Western Union, and via MoneyGram, that they are going to increase the fees on it, a 3.5% fee increase. There are some lawmakers in the United States that are asking for the fees to go up to as high as 5%. Some of them saying 3.5 too low. Increase the percentage to 5% on the money that they're sending. And not only that, we're talking about they're taxing what you're sending. We're not talking about the fees to send here. We're talking about the taxing the money that you're sending. So outside of what you're spending to send the money, you also have to pay a tax on the money that you're sending outside of the United States. Now we know that there are many families, many elderly, many children in Grenada that depend on family overseas in the U.S. to send money back to them. As far as the U.S. government is concerned, if any of those people are in the U.S. illegally, as we know many are, if any of those people are there illegally, they are going to have a serious problem in sending back the money, because you must present genuine, real, authentic U.S. identification and social security number in order to avoid having to pay taxes on the money that you're sending. So if you're going to send 100 US down, you have to pay the fees to send that 100 US down, and then you have to pay 3.5. I know some lawmakers were trying to get it down to a 1.5 or something percent. I don't know if they got through with that at the Senate level or if it remains at the level that they're saying. And there were others who were trying to get it up to 5% and so. So I don't know who win, or if that section has been removed or kept, but I can tell you definitely that, in fact, I can show you as well, that there is, section 112104. That's the section you have to be worried about. Excise tax on remittance transfers. So, what they intend to do, no, not you, you move, right? What they intend to do, oh, come on, stop doing that, right? What they intend to do here is the imposition of a tax. In general, there is hereby imposed on any remittance transfer a tax equal to 3.5 of the amount of such transfer. So 3.5 of the amount of such transfer. The taxes imposed by this section with respect to any remittance transfer shall be paid by the sender. So you are to pay it with respect to such transfer. Collection, the remittance transfer provider, that is Western Union, that is MoneyGram, and so on, they must collect and pass on to the United States government those taxes. And if they do not do that, and they are investigated, and the U.S. government finds out that they did not charge the tax to you, they give you a bly, that company can pay $10,000 up to $10,000 as a penalty for not imposing the tax on a person who should pay the tax. You all understand what's going on here? So we're ending up in a situation, and some people, oh, Donald Trump this, Donald Trump that. It's not Grenadians went and vote for Donald Trump. It is not Central Americans, South Americans, it is not Asians. The American people voted for him, and as far as I'm concerned, he's doing what he thinks the American people who voted for him want. So we're upset, we don't like it, but it's the American government with the American economy, and they have their lawmakers, and they're making laws that they believe will benefit them. They're looking after their interests. What we in the Caribbean have to start looking at, and we in Grenada have to start looking at, is our own interests and how we are going to deal with situations like this. Because remember, if you're not straight, as we call it like that, we say you're not straight in the United States. So you cannot present a social security number when you're going to Western Union or MoneyGram, or even money that you send online. That is also covered. So you can't say, well, I ain't going into them and saying I'm going to send it online. That is covered as well. So if you find yourself in any of those situations, you may not be able to send money. And you know what that means to a lot of the elderly who depend on the children there. And the children may have been there for a while and they're not straight. But they were still able to make a little money on the low and send it down. Not again. They're putting measures in place to deal with that. So part of the law deals with the amount of the tax. Part of the law that they are passing deals with the fact that if it's a United States citizen, if the person is a United States citizen, your family over there is a United States citizen, they don't have a problem. The tax isn't for them. It isn't imposed on them. But if they're not straight out there, then there's a problem. So part of it deals with the imposition of the tax. Part of the law deals with verifying that the person is a United States citizen when they're sending the money, and so that's why they have to have the social security number and that. And part of the law deals again with the institutions that have to send the money. You send the money through, that they must do it properly. And if they don't do it, there are penalties to them. 10,000 US per sender. So somebody go to send 300 US down to Grenada, and these people didn't check on them properly, and they're penalized 10,000 US for sending 300 US, whether we make what, 20 US offer, 15 US, whatever, and being so you know they're going to make sure that they clamp down, and you see this thing happening again, right? Behave yourself and impose what they need to impose. They're going to make sure that they get that done. All right, 1-473-440-7377. That's the number for you to get inside. Now remember, once passed, if it is passed, once it is passed and signed into law, this becomes law as of the 31st of December. So as of January 1st, 2026, this will take effect. And you must remember as well that remittances are a significant portion of the GDP of Caribbean countries. Yeah? They are a significant portion. We have a call online. Hello, good night.
Good night, good night to the listening audience.
How you doing?
I don't know if I heard you correct. Did you say Grenadians and South Americans and so forth didn't vote for Trump? Well, I don't know what was it you
No, no.
said.
When I say that, I clearly mean that those of us in the Caribbean, who down in the Caribbean, we could not vote and we did not vote for him. I ain't talking about those who have the ability to vote in the United States. If they have the ability to
Oh,
vote there, they are U.S. citizens. So they have the right to
well,
vote.
yeah, but okay.
Those of us who in Grenada and Jamaica and Barbados and Trinidad, Guyana, they don't have to care about us because it's no we that vote for them.
Well, technically, the West Indians out here, the Grenadians and West Indians are whole out here who are citizens. That
No,
there's a
they
lot of
cease
West Indians voting for Trump.
they cease to be West Indians and they are U.S. citizens
A
once they
lot
have
of
the
them,
ability to
a lot
vote.
of Hispanics, voted for Trump.
Yeah,
A lot. Yeah, a lot of West Indians. I know a lot of people Grenadians well that voted for. I have a neighbor. We have a neighbor that voted for Grenadian that He's like flag up and all that. But he take it down recently.
I wouldn't doubt that, but the simple point is
Take it
this,
down recently
my
because
friend.
we have a family member. I hold on to one of the family members, so he take it down.
The simple point is this, that they do not have to bother with us in the Caribbean because we on our end we are not really their responsibility. If
Nope.
you really follow what is going on, the present U.S. administration is looking inside. They ain't looking outside. They're saying, "Let
No.
me fix we people." Whether they're doing it the right way or the wrong way, that's for the American people to decide, not for me. I'm a Grenadian. The American
That's
people
for
have
the,
to decide that.
for the
But they are
millionaires.
doing what they
That's when people that
it
already have
may
money. The people that are benefiting from all of this is the people already who have money in this country.
well,
That's a rich man tax. It is in the sense as they benefiting from the taxes that on all these fees and all these things that the average person will be paying. You just to make the billionaires more money and the millionaires more money. Yeah, that's basically what's going on.
yeah.
That's why you call it a beautiful bill. Guys, there's a lot of money to be made. There's a lot of money to be
The
made in
big
that
beautiful bill.
beautiful bill, man. All right, my friend, have a good one.
All right, my
I'm
boy.
listening.
Blessings.
All right.
All right, yeah. No, that's the point. That's the point I was making. That Grenadians who are in Grenada, you didn't see there are no ballot box in Grenada for anybody to vote for the U.S. president. The U.S. president is the U.S. president, not the Grenada president. So he had to bother with us. We have a caller online. Hello, good night.
Good night, Mr. Sheldon Scott.
How you doing, Miss Camille Teresa Scott?
Yes, I did, man. I just saying good night to all you listeners, you know.
Yes,
I
yes.
did. Yeah. Good night to Patty and Matthew, Dr. Mitchell, everybody. I know I listening, I tune in, I listening. Yeah.
Yes, my dear.
Well,
But
Sheldon,
you ain't song 100% tonight. You song like you're tired tonight.
I good, man. I good. I was meditating, you know.
Oh, okay.
Listening, yes. But as you're talking about the people in America, my son tell me that.
Hmm?
My son tell me that yesterday. The one in the army, you know, he told me so. But I thank God that them don't have no problem.
Yeah. In
This
his
trying to make
case,
them there and
yeah, he
they
should be
good.
okay. Yeah, them good.
Yeah, he good. My daughter and them, you know, yeah. And they have a good little job. But they struggling. Cause he tell me it's rough. Cause they have their family, a lot of things, you know. So the people, I only sorry for some of my relatives that have that is not documented up there, and they sit down on the boat, excuse me language, and they don't look for work. They sit down depending on Section 8 to pay the rent for them, and they get the little coupons and thing. You go out there to work and let Grenada be your base. You have some of them that they on other programs and live and writing all kind of dirty things. Miss Camille, I'm in the clothes, you know. I'm in the clothes. I coconut water and it. I don't sorry I come back. When I just came back from America, I took Harrods. But I settled now, thank God for the NNP government. Dr. Mitchell, good night, sir. Take a bow. Again, don't talk about you, sir. I coconut water, I jabuka, I breadfruit, I blogger, I fig, I pineapple. But I don't come and take me thing, because I'm a camera. I watch him all on my phone on a daily terminal. Don't come. I okra, I plant okra, I plant peas, I plant sweet potato. And thank God I come back. Because I didn't have no green card. And some of them used to show up when they could have gone back and put, come here going down. But then you come home. And I did it big time. I start all over. Don't stay there for them to put all you in our next country where they're sending them people. Come home. So they are your family, are your friends. Send a little something. Come, even if you don't have come, this is your homeland. With nice people, we still go give a hand of fig. I bring down breastfruit this morning and I give away. You understand? I give away, Sharon.
But that's thing you're
I
accustomed
give
doing too, eh?
Yes, I give away. Because you can't eat everything, you can't sell everything, you have to help. You have to remember when you was down and out and somebody stretch hand for you too. So you know me had to go to some of them that they can't even go to work, they're scared. It's sad. Because you go up there and you want to live the American dream. To drink. You go and drink. Beer in paper bag and you're there all over. You see what's going on now? Trump, the big fat bill, all you will see what's going on. And a lot of them again can't come down and vote for the next election. Thank you, Jesus. And you can't come back down and vote. Because my daughter tell me, Mommy, a lot of people using a lot of fake social security number with people that die up there. They make immigration, some immigration, you know, we have a kind of old scam.
Yeah.
Right? They are allowing you to come out, but when you're going back, they're telling you no entry when you reach the airport. So stand on your mouth and us down here. Stop it! Because you don't know if they go put you in a jail or where they put the man from Puerto Rico, they're fighting to bring him back in America. Be very careful, you come out while you say in America and call in and trying to change all your voice. Stop it. We're home already. We can't go nowhere again. Have a good night to everybody. Mr. Olan Benos, good night. Mr. David, I love you with all my heart. Good night. Good night to everybody. And Sheldon Scott,
Yes, my
have
love.
a pleasant night, sir.
Same to you, my dear.
And continue doing what you're doing. I always
course.
pray for you. I've been to church yesterday. I pray for you and my children and Grenada, Carriacou and Piggy Matnik. Who like me, don't like me, too bad for them.
Yesterday was the feast of St. Peter. So,
Yes. And I take communion, so I want to be a good girl for this week. I take communion, yes. Have a nice night to everybody. Mr. Watts, good night, sir. We had a nice service. Yeah. All of me foot out in me. I still not try. Yeah, that's right. Good night to everybody.
And God knows your heart.
And you know,
He knows
he
your
rough,
heart. Yeah.
he rough out there. He rough, so we must say it as how it is. He rough. He rough for we the poor class people. Good night, everybody. Later.
All right, Kabe.
I'm listening. Yeah, and you stay good, boy. Stay good. Listen to me.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Yes, indeed, folks. And one thing I had to make a point about the bill as well, huh? It is not just the Western Union and the MoneyGram and the Velo, Nello, whatever they just call it. It is also a case where they are going to be taking that from the banks as well. So if you're doing a transfer from a bank to Grenada and you don't have the proper documentation, so you think, well, me ain't going in MoneyGram and them, I'll just do a bank transfer. In the bill, that is included as well. Yeah, and we have to remember that a significant amount of money that comes into the Grenadian economy. Let me see if I can find a figure here in relation to it. No, that's not the mouse. You see, that's what's happening. I'm using about 4 different mouse, different machines. And let me see here. I'm looking for the part right. There's a document I'm looking at here, and I'm looking at this section here. The current account deficit is estimated to have widened in 2024 as the increased import bill for construction projects exceeded the recovery in tourism exports. Now, the important part for me here is remittances slowed to 5.9% of GDP in 2024. In other words, people are already sending less money back to Grenada from not just the United States, but from England and from Canada and so on. And we know what's going on in those economies. So people already are sending back less money. In 2020, they sent the most, and we would understand why in 2020 they would send the most, 6.6% of the GDP of Grenada, and that's because you had COVID going on. So a lot of people in Grenada lost their jobs, and it's their family who in the US and Canada and all over, in Australia, all over, that sent cash to help them pay the rent, keep on the electricity, keep the water until the job started up again, or they got back a job, or whatever it was, or they got assistance from government to help, and that sort of thing. Yeah? So in 2023, it was 5.8% of GDP in 2023. Yeah? It says this is unlikely to have impacted poverty, but it impacts poverty indirectly, because when the people get their money, it spends in the Grenadian economy, so it trickles down to everybody. And then remember, CBI, which they speak about here, which is 14.8% of GDP, in other words, 14.8% of the economy really, in 2024, that in itself is in danger. So you have remittances, which brings in a significant amount of money, yeah, some 5.9% for last year. That's a couple tens of millions of US into the Grenadian economy. And then you also are losing aspects of CBI now, because we're hearing what the US government is about to do with CBI countries. You're hearing what is taking place in Europe. You're hearing what's taking place in the UK. All of them are ganging up against countries that have CBI programs to make it more difficult, to make CBI passports less attractive. So the benefits that the people who get CBI passports have, like the Schengen visa, the European Union is now putting in place something similar to a visa. While you still have the Schengen visa, you could travel and so on. You now have to let them know upfront that you are going to be coming and so on. So they are doing all of that now to ensure, that they take care of what has to take place with people in the different countries. Folks, I have to take a short break, and I will be right back. Yes, folks, sorry about that. Just had to run to the front door briefly there. Had to make that one quick. Yes, indeed, 1473-440-737. So understand that our economy, you have tourism, and we know what can happen to tourism. We saw what happened in 2020 when it comes to tourism. Yes, when you walk in, yes, it brings in significant amounts of money. But you have these shocks that can take place, natural disasters. You also have man-made disasters. You have different things that can happen that can affect tourism. So that is always suspect. But you already know for a fact what is taking place with CBI, and you're seeing what's taking place with remittances. It means that significant amount of monies that was coming into Grenada will not be coming into Grenada in the volume that it has come in the past. You have to ask yourself, what is your government doing to fill the gap? What are they doing to fill that space between the monies that we're going to be losing there And have they created some other enterprise? Have they looked at a new area that is going to bring those millions of dollars that we're going to be losing out? Those millions of dollars, you're already seeing remittances, money people sending back. You already see that going down. What are you doing so that it's going to bring money into the Grenadian economy even more than you're losing from that aspect? And those are the questions the government needs to answer instead of sitting down there and only taking pictures and photos and jumping plane. We have a call online. Hello, good night.
Sheldon, sorry to call back. I wouldn't be long.
No problem, my
I
dear.
just begging you for a little advertisement.
No problem. Go right ahead.
I have some cocoa balls and I have some little children clothes are selling out for $5. Cocoa. I need to make up my money to pay my rent.
And Kami,
Some little clothes. Hey.
somebody was asking me if you had coconut oil, and it's only as you talk now, I just remember.
No, I don't have coconut oil. Cocoa.
Cocoa, okay,
Cocoa
yeah.
to make cocoa tea.
Yeah.
And I have some little clothes and slippers are selling out all you pass. I have to pay my rent. I'm selling them much. Thank you very much, sir.
No problem. All right, but yeah. And folks, those of you that are coming back home for the carnival season here, those of you that don't afraid and you could come home, right? Those of you that are coming home for the carnival season, make sure that you check Cami on the bus terminus before you go back, and you can get your cocoa balls. And you know, you could have a look at drink and chat with Cami and them kind of thing, man. And you could make sure you get your cocoa balls. If you want tambrand ball, tell her now. Yeah, if you want tambrand ball and them different thing, tell Cami now she go organize you nice. All right, so you're going back up well stocked, because we know when the winter come, you does be dreaming about them cocoa ball in Grenada, and Cami does have some of the best. So make sure you pass on the bus terminal around by the Grenada's bus stand if you don't know where, and look for Miss Cami, and you're going to get your cocoa ball and thing to head back up in the States, or whether you're going to, well, those of you going in Canada does have it real hard with that cold, so those of you heading into Canada and into Europe, wherever you're going, pass and get your cocoa ball, pass and get your other stuff by Miss Cami. So yes, indeed, folks. Also, today I was looking at an event that was taking place in the island of St. Lucia. And while looking at that event, I was kind of at a point in time, because the Nigerian president is visiting St. Lucia. And at a point in time, I kind of get embarrassed, you know, yeah. I kind of get embarrassed. As a Grenadian, I kind of get embarrassed. Let me show all you while I'm embarrassed. While the Nigerian president talking, let me show all you kind of why I was kind of embarrassed and thing. Let me show
Trade and colonial subjugation, but out of which emerged a shared cultural identity, an indomitable resilience, and a legacy of aspiration.
I mean, we Minister of Foreign Affairs couldn't stay awake, man. Watch, man. Oh, come, all you watch, man. Hold on, no, let me go back here. Let me watch,
But
man.
out of which emerged a shared cultural identity, an indomitable resilience, and a legacy of aspiration.
Somebody had to get the man a matchstick for your eye. The man need a ladder to keep up his eyes. Something definitely ain't right. The man falling asleep on the job. And his name is Don Joe, so we call any Sleepy Joe from now on. And that's Sleepy Joe. Hey, I mean, hey, what do Sleepy Joe?
A shared cultural identity, an indomitable resilience, and a legacy of aspiration.
Minister, keep your eye open.
My presence here today, trade and colonial cultural identity, an indomitable resilience, and a legacy of
Man gone there. That man gone there. That is it, you know. He gone there. He's sleeping. You understand? Imagine the St. Lucian people watching this. And Grenada, Minister of Foreign Affairs. And the man have on me flag there, but you shall take off your flag, but you can't embarrass us like that. We're trying to tell the Nigerian president. You talking shoppiness or something that we're trying to tell him, man? I can't understand this guy, man. Well sleeping
emerged a shared cultural identity, an indomitable resilience.
Man, drink some coffee or something. Hey, drink some, make sure you drink some water, some kind of thing. Hey, you could go anything and fall in. And watch. Them Lucian and them for themselves, they ain't easy. They have the whole audience, the whole parliament chamber. They focus on Grenada Minister of Foreign Affairs taking a nice nap and taking a sleep and thing. I mean, come on, man.
Shared cultural identity, an indomitable resilience, and a legacy of aspiration.
Fight
My
it, brother.
presence
Fight
here
it. Fight
today.
it. Fight it, brother. Fight it. Fight it. And you know the worst part about that, eh? The worst part about this thing is, you know, that thing was live on Nigerian TV. So the millions of people in Nigeria, the millions of people out there in Nigeria, this is what they saw. This is how they saw it in Nigeria. Yeah, this is how they saw it.
Slavery, slave trade, and colonial subjugation, but out of which emerged a shared cultural identity, an indomitable resilience, and a
Now, all them Nigerians go feel Grenada minister sleeping on the job. Hey, boy, wake up! Hey, wake up, boy.
a shared cultural identity, an indomitable resilience, and a legacy of
Sleepy Joe, wake up, wake up. We know you've been sleeping on the job for the people of St. Patrick, but you don't have to do that on the whole country too, man.
of which emerged a shared cultural identity, an indomitable resilience, and a legacy of aspiration.
Snap out it, snap out it, man, snap out it.
My presence here today,
Fight it, fight it.
but out of which emerged a shared cultural identity, an indomitable resilience, and a legacy of
Oh, come on. They could have shown anybody in the parliament chamber. They just had to show the Grenada minister sleeping. Jesus Christ. How you could go there and do that? How you could go in the people place and go and sleep? What kind of thing is that, boy? But you know, we have to ask ourselves too, who is paying for these large delegations to go to these meetings, and what benefits are coming back from the meetings? Because let me point out something to you here. Let me start with this particular one. Yeah, let me start with this one. Right, and the young lady you're seeing in the back here is Deacon Mitchell's executive secretary. So she was in St. Lucia today. I don't know if they're going to be there tomorrow and afterwards and so, but she is the person sitting behind Prime Minister Pierre there. Right, so that's Deacon Mitchell's executive secretary, I believe she is. So whether it's Dubai, where the bloke tell us, you know it's 100,000 that's spending there. So the bloke tell us that. So whether it's in Dubai, or whether it is in the US, or whether it is regional, the Prime Minister traveling with the executive secretary. I know Dr. Mitchell used to travel and sometimes just one security alone, and he going all over the world. Sometimes just he and one security. He ain't have to bring no bandwagon with him. According to the meeting, the specific type of meeting, and if it is industry related to a particular area that another minister within his cabinet has to deal with, he may bring another minister along with him. And still, in most cases, those trips had to be funded or transportation had to be provided, etc. Who is paying for this particular one? Because we have the executive secretary there. Yeah, and that's just one. We have the executive secretary. We already saw the Minister of Foreign Affairs. We might understand the Minister of Foreign Affairs considering it is a meeting of the President of Nigeria with OECS heads. And so you might understand you bring, even though he was sleeping, you might bring your Minister of Foreign Affairs. Next time, make sure the man drinks some coffee or some kind of thing before he go in the people function. That's embarrassing to the state. You can't be sleeping anything so. All right, nice, yeah. And that's not like a change timeline, like you go over to England or something and you get jet lag and you go and sleep. That is Grenada to 45 minutes. Come on, man. Yeah, sleep, you ought to be sleeping there and them kind of thing there. You understand? Yeah, what kind of thing is that? And then, when you continue to look at some of the videos there, you realize that our Prime Minister, again, continues to travel with his own cameraman, which is this individual in the corner here. Yeah, he traveling with the cameraman. He making sure that he go with his own cameraman because pictures and videos are important. Don't come back with money, but come back with pictures, yeah? You understand? There. So this is his cameraman here, doing whatever his name is. Yeah, that is the Prime Minister of Grenada cameraman. So everywhere he going, so executive secretary, so they have to pay for the flight for the executive secretary. They have to find a room for her, because I'm pretty sure she ain't sharing a room with anybody. So they have to pay for a room for her, right? And plus they have to get a per diem. Once they're out of the country, you have to give them a per diem for the day that they're going, or days that they're gone, etc. So we want to know who is paying for all of this. Where all these things covered by the government of Grenada? Is the government of St. Lucia paying for this? Is the government of Nigeria paying for it? Or is the government of Grenada paying to send these teams and them over there? Because, I mean, what is the necessity that the Prime Minister of Grenada needs to walk all the way going? Nigeria, you name it, going with your own cameraman. Going in the Middle East, carrying your own cameraman. Is it you and me that paying for it? That's what we want to know, you know. They like to know about who paying for thing and all kind of thing. We want to know who is paying in this instance for the Prime Minister of Grenada to be on his own personal agenda, carrying a cameraman with him and so. Is he being paid by the people of Grenada? And if so, what benefit are you and me getting from having a cameraman and an executive secretary following the Prime Minister all the way you go? A security officer, I could understand. A security officer, I could say me a problem with that. When it comes to having to travel all over, you ain't Beyonce, you ain't Rihanna, and even Riri don't walk with your own camera people. She does let the paparazzi do their thing. But you ain't Beyonce and all these people and them. The Prime Minister of Grenada, I don't know if he feels he's a pop star, so he need a publicist. So he's going to these functions, and you see the number of cameramen that they have there in St. Lucia at the Parliament building. They have a platitude, a multitude of cameramen and videographers, etc. that were there. So there was no need that you had to bring yours up from Grenada to come to the thing. But everywhere he's going, he's walking with him, so we want to know. Is he being paid out of the Prime Minister's own pocket? If the Prime Minister paying for him out of your own pocket, no problem. So, Mr. Prime Minister, if you're paying for the bandwagon that you're traveling with out of your own pocket, no problem. We will pay for the security officer or officers. Some places you go, you might need 2 to go with you instead of 1. We don't mind. We, the people of Grenada, you as the Prime Minister, we will pay for your security officers to go with you. But you see that multitude you're carrying behind you, like Moses leading the Jews out of Egypt? We ain't there on that. Because up to now, there are no benefits that you can speak to the Grenadian people, that these people that you're carrying, that probably already have cost us into the hundreds of thousands, if not as much as 500,000 already. There is no benefit that you can come and show to us, the Grenadian people, for dragging these people behind you all the way you're going. Even to an extent Sleepy Joe, because we doesn't hear no report from Sleepy Joe, he come back and say, well, this is what the Grenadian people are going to benefit. Come in and report agreements that Grenada signed before and all kind of thing, an arrangement that was made before, and saying, well, we drawing down that money and thing. That is one thing. But don't come to us now and you just go in with these people and you can't come back and tell us, well, hey, this is the benefit that we've gotten. We've gone to that meeting, and this is the benefit to you, the people of Grenada, off of that trip. I am pretty sure most Grenadians have an issue with that. We have an issue with that. If you are traveling, you don't, number one, you don't come and report in the first place. So you don't come and report to us and say to us, Dr. Colette, I ain't getting in that one. I ain't reading that comment, not me. Yeah. So you're not coming to us and saying that I've gone to this trip, these are the benefits. I always remember when Dr. Mitchell traveled and he came back from several trips at the post-cabinet, or if you have to call an extraordinary meeting, they hold a press conference. Listen, we've gone to here, we've gone to Saudi Arabia, we've secured how much 100 million for road rehabilitation, we're going to do the East Coast Road. We've secured how much million from whichever government, we're going to do the West Coast Road. We've secured how much million, we're going to do the National Stadium repairs. We've secured this, we've secured that. At least when Dr. Mitchell came back, And he traveled to one security. He didn't have to carry the whole multitude with him. When he came back, he was able to say, this is the benefit to the people of Grenada. That is the benefit. God rest his soul, the late Elvin G. Nimrod. When he traveled on behalf of the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, when he came back, he held press conferences and he said, we have negotiated terms for this grant. We've gotten this counterpart funding project. We've gotten these amount of scholarships. We've gotten this, that, the other. So you heard all these things coming out. You heard all these things when these people went out. Yeah? Even in the latter rungs of the New National Party. You had Nicholas Steele, you had Peter David, you had Oliver Joseph. You had various people that went out there as foreign minister, and when they came back, they reported to the Grenadian people. They reported. But this group don't believe they have to report to nobody. So all they're interested in is coming back and show pictures. So the Prime Minister go to Africa, he come back with a set of pictures, and he showed a set of pictures that he wearing a nice suit, and he ain't see my pants that they had on, and he ain't see the nice shoes that they put on, and all them kind of thing. Who does that? Who interested in that? What difference does that make to the young person right now who does not have a job, ain't eat for the day, and not sure if they go eat tomorrow? How does that help them? How does that help the young mother? That school closing right now and she's signing herself. Because while she doesn't have to find the money to send the 3 children to school now, she still has to worry about feeding them now that they're home, and they know the children are trying to eat out the whole house when they're home. So she now has to find the money to do that. Then she has school books and uniform and school fees on the back. On the back. Some people say they do have school fees. Okay, if you say do have school fees. If you say do have school fees, no problem. Yeah, no problem. I know. Let me see what I say here. Just for people who need to know. Anglican High School, July the 9th. For those of you whose child has passed for Anglican High School, July the 9th, walk with $255. All right? Nice. Yeah. So those of you, they say no school fees. Government say no school fees. So for those of you going to the Anglican High School, walk with your $255. That is not a school fee as far as they're concerned. All right. McDonald College, it's $140. So that is on, that was today. Yeah, McDonald College was today. So sorry. Hope you all knew that you had to walk with the $140. They say registration costs. Administrative fee, $25. Student ID, student handbook, school tie, ting. All right, okay. Just remember, they say no school fees. Right? St. Mark's Secondary, they are going to be on Thursday. So those of you in St. Mark, it's going to be on Thursday. Just make sure you walk with your $200. Yeah? Don't study this government and no school. You have to pay. Right? Just walk with your $200 and them kind of thing. All right. 440-7377-347-329-3101. We have roughly about 30 minutes left on tonight's program. And let me say this, tomorrow night, it's going to be the anniversary of Hurricane Beryl. So those of you in Carriacou and in Petit Martinique, and those of you who were there in Beryl, but you may not be in Carriacou, Petit Martinique, you may be in the US or wherever, give us a call tomorrow night, and make sure you give us a call during the program tomorrow night. I'm not sure which guest is lined up for tomorrow night yet. But I may see if I can get, although we had Senator Cox just about 2 weeks ago, I think with Hurricane Beryl, even if it's just for 10-15 minutes, we need to get him on again. And whoever else out of Carriacou that wants to call and give an update as to what is taking place exactly 1 year later. Because we're hearing that as of tomorrow, we enter the final month of the Beryl Relief Program. And it are many people that forget roof, they do a house. They live in tent. And they can't hear the intent of the government. So they're in a tent but can't hear government's intent. Because the Prime Minister is speaking one language and you have 2 ministers confirming that the Beryl Relief Support Program will be ending the last day of July. So if you get already, sign yourself. If you don't get, well, too bad. Not from me, too bad. That's what they say. Not on my end. We have a caller on the line. Hello, good night.
Hey, good night, Sheldon.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. You go right ahead.
All right. The guy that came from the U.S., the kayak, the guy, he's a kayak, and he was doing some repair on the roof of the house, and he fall off the roof and he damaged. I think it was his back or something about that.
His skull.
What's happening?
His skull.
His skull. We don't hear nothing about him again. What's going on with him?
I heard.
Is he alive?
Yeah, man.
Or what?
Yeah. Last I know, he was alive and he was recuperating well. He had gotten to the U.S. I know a lot of folks stepped in and donated and helped and so on, and he got to the U.S. and I know that he immediately on getting there, they started giving him treatment and so. If I remember, there was a follow-up a couple of months later by his wife. I think she gave a follow-up and he was mending okay, but I haven't heard, for several months, I haven't heard anything about him again. I think he's
that's the reason why I called to find out.
I think he was a clouding, innit?
Yeah, I don't know because I'm not home, so I don't know.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
You're quite correct. It would be interesting to hear what is the situation with him at that point right now. Yeah, it would be
and
interesting
one
to
more
hear
question. One more question before I run back. The guy from Lacalome who say you don't have to pay. You don't have to pay.
Okay.
What's going on?
Hold on. Somebody just messaged me and said, and a good relative of mine messaged me and said he is okay. He saw him last night. The guy who fell off the roof, he said he is okay. He saw him last night.
Okay, that's good. And what's about the guy in Lacalome who said they don't have to pay for the spot? The people in Lacalome. What becomes of that? Now they have to pay.
Which one of them? The one who was saying it before election, during election time?
Yes. You don't have to pay nada. You don't have to pay nada.
My friend, I am unaware of the present situation of the individuals who occupy that territory. The last I heard, and I really should have gotten that audio to bring it here. And I'm speaking to you, it's a reminder to go back and find it. The last I heard,
we have to remind.
There was a meeting that took place between the people of Lacalome and the housing authority, where
sorry, with that interrupting you, I have to run back inside. Me like it 5 minutes up.
Run.
5 minutes up.
Run.
Yeah. Let it know donkey in the cane as the old people that stuck donkey in the cane for them.
All right, Papa. Yes, indeed. So, folks, the last I heard is with Lacalome is that the housing authority has started to walk back what they were telling the people now. For instance, as far as the residents knew, they had to pay and there was no provision for partial payments. You had to pay everything one time. Now the housing authority is saying that's not the case. People misunderstand them and so on. So I'll get an update. I am pretty sure the air traffic controller will be visiting the area and we'll get a little insight from her as of to what's the latest, and then I'll contact one or two people who live in the area, and I do know, and we'll find out. But I know the last I heard from, I'm trying to remember where I heard it. It was on a news program or where, but I heard it that some of the comments were being walked back. So like they realized the meeting resistance, they realize the people ain't going down so they start to say, oh, no, it's really this we were saying, only didn't understand us. You send people to measure, you send letters, the people talk to you all, and it take until everybody start to make noise and the thing become a national issue now that the people don't understand you. So you didn't realize 2 months ago the people didn't understand you. Now you're not to tell the people they didn't understand, or they're just trying to walk back what Oli was attempting to do. Yeah? And again, I'll ask the question again. What stops them from just giving the people the land for $1? Why they insisting that they must get how much thousand and how much thousand and how much thousand? There's the government. You think anything could stop them if they decided that through the housing authority, the Masabul Massacre and the housing authority is still government. You think anything is stopping them from saying to these individuals, we grant you all the land. You've been living there for how much years? We just granted the land, put the land in your name also. Nothing is stopping the government from doing that. They just make up their mind, they have to do this to the people. 1473-440-7377. That's the number to call and get on the inside. So the gentleman who fell off the roof and had cracked his skull, yeah, I think he had some bleeding and all kind of thing was happening there. Right, so he is okay. According to one of my relatives who saw him last night, he is okay now. All right, so 1473-440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get on the inside. So one, start to put your things in place. Remember, more than likely, your relatives who usually send money down to you, but they are not, quote unquote, straight in the United States, they are going to have problems sending money to you as of January. Whether they do a bank transfer, whether they do Zelle, that's the word, Zelle, not Vel, Zelle, whether they do MoneyGram, whether they do Western Union, all of these companies, all the banks and the U.S. credit unions, all of them have to report to the Internal Revenue Service. That's what they call the IRS, internal, right? The Internal Revenue Service. They have to report to the IRS, and they have to ensure that whoever is sending money is a U.S. citizen, because if they're not saying that non-citizens can't send, no, you could send, but you will be taxed on the money that you're sending. So if you're sending 10,000 to a relative down here, you will be taxed 3.5, 3.9, whatever percent on that money, and still have to pay the transfer fees. Yeah, it is not on the transfer fee, it is on the amount being sent. So work it out, right? And remember, you still have some people saying there is not enough, put more on it. And there are other aspects of that bill, is a pretty large one. And there are other aspects of that bill that I'm sure will affect us here in the Caribbean. But our government is more interested in going and fall asleep in sister territories than paying attention to things that will directly affect you and I, Grenadian citizens, here at home. They're more focused on going and fall asleep and wait, let me see that again. Yeah, going and fall asleep and thing. Go and fall asleep and then people think, oh, you can go and fall asleep there. You kind of thing is that, I mean, man is man, but oh God, man, you can't go and do that. You can't do that.
Colonial subjugation, but out of which emerged a shared cultural identity, an indomitable resilience, and a legacy of aspiration.
Yeah, legacy of aspiration, but right now he was suffering from perspiration. Yeah.
Shared cultural identity, an indomitable resilience, and a legacy of aspiration. My presence.
So you're telling the Nigerian president he was boring or some kind of thing? Mr. Minister, using Minister of Foreign Affairs and
shared cultural identity, an indomitable.
And this one we see, I wonder if there are others that is sleeping in the meeting and thing and we ain't seeing. Next thing, man, in the United Nations, they call in Grenada to speak, and next thing, man, sleeping in her. We had to ask ourselves what's going on there. I want to know if that is behavior that you're accustomed to, brother. Yeah. We want to know. Want to know if that is behavior that you're accustomed to, yeah.
And a legacy of aspiration.
Fight the sleep, brother. Fight it, Sleepy Joe.
Cultural identity, an indomitable resilience, and a legacy of aspiration.
Somebody on the city minister gave him some clear tape so he could tape his eye and them open. So if he try to fall asleep, his eye and them go be open. So just tape. Or give him 2 matchstick, he could push one and keep your eyes open and them kind of thing. Yes, indeed. Let me go down to the comment section. And again, we want to know who is paying for these delegations that are going out to these meetings. We want to know who is paying for these delegations that are going out to these meetings, because we yeah, because you're cameraman with you, you're executive secretary and all kind of thing. We want to know. Maybe the prime minister paying out of his pocket. We don't know. Maybe he paying out of his pocket, but is it necessary? Because when you go to these countries, these international leaders do not meet with you without having their cameraman present there to take your photos and everything. And as such, you may spend 50,000. You may spend 100,000 according to if you're going to Dubai or wherever, to bring an individual to a location to do something that there are already about 5 or 6 people there doing. You think that the Crown Prince in Dubai and all the other sheiks and so on, that they don't have cameramen that work along with them and follow them everywhere they go and do what they have to do? These are multi-billionaires and they can afford it. Yeah? One of these guys and them bank account could wipe out Grenada debt twice. Seriously, one of them bank account. What they just spend on cars is probably what some smaller countries spend on healthcare or education. And they just spend it on cars in a year. And you still taking a cameraman from the country that don't have those kind of resources and bring them to those other countries. And we're not speaking St. Lucia here. We're speaking about some of the other countries that they go to. You taking a cameraman from here to bring to one of those countries to go and perform a job that there are people there already performing. That all you have to do is organize in the same way that press secretaries under Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell used to organize. So when he travels and he's coming back and so on, the press secretary contact whoever they had to contact in that country, and sometime before Dr. Mitchell reach, he pictures back in Grenada in the media already. Sometime he reach in on a Friday and he pictures from Wednesday already in the newspapers that he meet on a Friday from wherever it is that he went. But no, this Prime Minister has to move with his entourage. So he has to go with the cameraman and the personal secretary and the whole kit and caboodle. Yeah? Meanwhile, Princess Alice Hospital having problems for something as simple as IV tubing to provide drips or medication or other things to people, or to provide for other medical procedures that should be able to be done there in emergency circumstances before you transfer the people down to the main hospital. But those simple things you don't have there. Medication for diabetics and other people, you don't have that. But you could find money to ensure that you have a cameraman to follow you wherever you're going and to bring your secretary with you. What's the necessity of these people? What is the use of these people? What is the money that you have to carry? And someone just said, okay, Damien is doing okay. Thanks to God, all that helped. He still has some challenges and is doing therapy, but he's able to walk, which we are grateful for. So the gentleman who fell, yeah, he is walking. Nice. Yeah, well, one more cousin says he see him. I had a feeling out and about. So he still has some challenges and is doing therapy, but he's able to walk, which is what they are grateful for, because he had a serious injury. A serious injury. And again, they couldn't find money to help the wife to get him out of Grenada to get to the US. They could drag 2 people who, as far as I'm concerned, are useless behind you all over the world. Useless, no benefit to the Grenadian people. I would challenge the Prime Minister and the government to tell us what is the benefit of these individuals that are being dragged all over the world at taxpayers' expense as far as we know. And I keep using that, giving all you a little angle to get out of it and say, well, you're paying for it out of your pocket, or it's being funded by some external agency. And if it's being funded by an external agency, I'd say, why not redirect that money into something that is more useful in the state of Grenada? As the supplies to the health centers, or to help a school with the school feeding program, because we are your ministers talking about challenges with the school feeding program and trying to put it back now onto the teachers in the school and trying to put it back on the parents and the community, when you all are the one who change up how the school feeding program running, and now it's into problems, trying to flip the blame on everybody else. Everybody else they're trying to flip the blame on to now. And my friend, I thank you so very much for your message, letting us know how Damien is doing. Right, wonderful. And again, the family says thank you to everyone that helped. Because I know a lot of people, they went into the GoFundMe and so on, and they helped. They asked how they could help and so on. Yes, so all of you that help, whether it's a 5 or 10 or whatever, yeah. Look, someone is saying, Elizabeth is saying that money could have been helpful for someone to get out of them tents in Carriacou. So yeah, another one, that cameraman seen touring the world. Yeah, he touring the world. That's what's going on right now. They're touring the world. And while they're touring the world, there are people tonight, one mother with a differently abled child is in a tent in Carriacou. 1 year after the hurricane, when other people who had a house that just need a roof, they got a brand new house, and the house that just needed the roof, they put in a roof on it now. So they have 2, and the mother is in a tent. Excuse me. And the mother is in a tent. You have the situation of another mother in a house in Carriacou. Not in a house, sorry, had a house in Carriacou. Up to this date, she had a house in Carriacou. This date last year. But come the day after it, Beryl went to the house, barely leave the pillars, knock up all the thing using the little pieces of thing around, on top of the platform, so that 2 of the children could sleep inside there. And they and the rest of the children had to jam in a tent down in the yard. Ask about toilet and bathroom facilities. Ask about that. If they're living in a tent, make a guess what's going on with toilet and bathroom facilities for these people. You all make a guess and guess what happened. That's the situation for many people in Carriacou and in Petit Martinique right now. Tomorrow marks exactly 1 year since Hurricane Beryl, and I really want to deal with most of this tomorrow. 1 year since Hurricane Beryl. This is the day, according to, I see journalist Linda Stricker put it out today. This was the day when people say, but Prime Minister, you leave the country, a point in time like this, you should have been, people saying you gone, and you say you have nothing to say to them. What would you say to the people who saying that? You say you have nothing to say to them. He had nothing to say to them. When he should have been convening a meeting of the National Disaster Management Agency, when he should have been there, starting to get things pre-positioned, understanding the possibilities that were about to happen, having your supplies and your different things pre-positioned, and starting to contact your international and regional, well, you don't have that, but your international and regional contacts, knowing what was about to happen. But instead of all of that, what you had to say to the people, I have nothing to say to them. I have nothing to say to them. So you telling me that all of this travel that is taking place, folks, any one of you that could tell me some of the benefits that have been brought back to Grenada, except pictures of him grinning like a Cheshire cat. Tell me some of the benefits that have been brought back to Grenada from all of these trips. I think some children in St. David's get some, was cricket bat from Dangote. I think they get some cricket bat from Dangote. I think so. I ain't sure if they get some cricket bat and other gear. Did they actually get it? I know it was promised and so on. But tell me, out of these travels and so, what have the Grenadian people benefited for how much we're spending? And again, the time has come for the reckoning of our diplomatic corps out there. Yeah? The time of reckoning is now. We want to know what our diplomatic corps in China. And remember, I was one of the people, when they announced all the people going in, I said, let me give them a chance and see what they're going on. Some of them young, some of them intelligent. Let me see what's coming back. Yes, you could go back and view the tape. I didn't cuss and say, Lord, the wicked, where they sending that person there for? And think I took the approach of let us look and see. Now it's time to report. Now it's time to report. We want to know what benefits have our diplomatic corps in China brought to the Grenadian people for the time that they have been there, and the couple million that most likely has been spent on them being there thus far. We're not just talking salary, we're talking housing, all that kind of thing. For the people in the UK, the person in the UK, the High Commissioner there, because I realized the change in residence, all kind of thing, which I'm pretty sure is going to cost the Grenadian taxpayer a couple £100,000 or something. I'm not sure. It will cost us that money again. What benefits have we gained from that mission, and what benefits? Is there a project that we can point to and say that they were the ones negotiated that? Was there a major issue that came up and they were able to defend the interests of Grenada? Because right now we know that Grenadians going to the UK, they have to go and fill out the pre-application form and all that kind of thing. Nobody went and talked to them and say, hey, we just still pledge allegiance to the king. Hold out on that. Yeah? We didn't have anybody that could do that there for us. We still pledging allegiance to the king. Yeah? The king is represented by the Governor General. You can't do that to us. Do it to them other people. But we are one of the few countries that remain that still do this thing. So we did not know nobody that could argue there for us. And it was Keisha Grant and them that have you to argue and them back in the days, you know. Even Mr. Hood, all them that argue for us though. Yeah? They would not let that pass just so. The Chinese, everybody else coming with projects. Who coming with infrastructural projects? Who coming with this? Who coming with that? We have diplomatic representation in China and we ain't coming back with nothing. Nothing. We had diplomatic representation in Dubai. And you all could tune into Simon Says, one of the older programs, and you would see the kinds of money that's being spent in Dubai. You would see the kind of money that's being spent in Dubai just on the diplomatic mission. Much less you have government ministers that there nearly every month. And what benefits? Can they come to us and say, outside the fact that they may have sold a few CBI passports, can they say to us, the Grenadian people, what benefits? Because CBI program was there before them. So can they say to us, what benefits have the Grenadian people get? Or is it that some Grenadian, meaning themselves alone, does go and get benefits in Dubai? Forget the rest of the country. They are the ones getting benefits, or their political organization is getting benefits. But the rest of us, we have to wait and see. These are the things that are taking place, you know. And we tend to have a government that seems to think that everything is about just take some pictures and the people go be okay. Just take some video, grin, smile, try to talk like Maurice Bishop and the people go be okay. And you see, all of them now, as I said last week and I'll repeat again, they're trying to play Maurice Bishop. There are people listening to this program tonight, knew Maurice Bishop intimately. They work with him every day. They were around him. And when they look at Deacon Mitchell, they could see that he is attempting to try to be Maurice Bishop. From the way he's speaking now, you look at the old tapes of Maurice speaking and look at them, and you realize they're trying to copy how Maurice used to speak. Down to his inflection on certain words, you realize they're trying to take that as well. That if you close your eye and you turn your back and you listen, you might actually think it's Maurice Bishop speaking. Who had to grow beard in the face because they can't be themselves, so they have to try and be something else. And run, so they have to grow beard in the face to try and look like one of the revolutionaries from the 1970s and so people go watch them and say, hey, that man look like Maurice and them. You remember Maurice and them, you saw their beard? Them men and them look like Maurice and them. All of these things is because these people cannot let you or me, the nation, they can't let them know who they really are, so they have to hide themselves with false personas that they have to put out there. So when you see they dress a certain way, when you see they have to dress like if they feel is Uncle Gary, because they can't be them, you know, so they want to try to be Uncle Gary. So they have to try to dress like Uncle Gary used to dress, in the same colors and them kind of thing. So that some of the elder people go say, hey, that boy look as Gary, we. Or some of them, they have to even try to walk as Gary. They have to try to walk as Maurice Bishop and think. They cannot be themselves. So they have to continually create this persona, this false persona, every time they go out to meet people, every time they go in front of a camera, every time they go in front of a crowd, they have to create this false persona. They can't be themselves. You see Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell? He was himself. He never tried to look like Gary, never tried to do like this one. He was himself. And they're still trying to copy some of his thing too. So he has always been himself. You look at Honorable Emlyn Pierre. You look at Honorable Kate Skeeter Lewis Peters. You look at the entire New National Party team, Honorable Clarice Modest. And these are people, that's who they are. That's how they speak. You know who they are. They ain't putting on no persona. That is them. But this group, because they have so little, next to nothing to offer, they have to put on these false personas and put them out there to try and entrap the minds of people into believing that they're making sense or they know what they're saying. Sometimes I'm listening to them, especially the one in Carriacou. You're listening to them. And if you listen carefully, you realize these people talking a pile of stupidness, you know. They try to sound intelligent. They try to sound as though what they're saying makes sense. And it sounds nice sometimes when it's coming out their mouth because of how they talk. But when you really picture what they're saying, absolute nonsense, you know. Absolute nonsense. And some of them actually reading it off paper and still talking nonsense. Ah, boy. Anyway, folks, we're getting close to the end of tonight's program, so we ain't taking no more calls around now. So, yeah, time for calls done. We ain't gonna be taking any more calls that thing there. But just remember, tomorrow night, on tomorrow night's program, we want to make sure that those of you in Carriacou and Petit Martinique get the opportunity to call in. You all have been way too quiet for way too long. It is time for you all to call in and let people know what is taking place firsthand in Carriacou and Petit Martinique. But before we go as well, just have to let you all know of some of the activities. I ain't hear St. George Northwest call and say the thing was good. Too late, call tomorrow, right? St. Patrick West Constituency Branch, they've got their spicy Grenadian breakfast. That's $10 per box. It's taking place this Saturday at the Sauters bus terminal. Don't you miss it. It starts at 6 a.m. They have Tanya log, cocoa bush tea, bakes and saltfish, fry fish, cuckoo, bakes and smoke. Oh, bakes and smoke? Herring. Okay, you see all you right today. All you're making me wonder if you're selling cigarette. Bakes and smoke. Bakes and smoke herring provision. So that's the spicy Grenadian breakfast. It's taking place this Saturday from 6 a.m. at the Sauters bus terminal. Go on out there and get your smoke herring and bakes provision. Cuckoo, fry fish, bakes and saltfish, bush tea, cocoa tea, and Tanya log. All right? Yeah, and we continue in our quest to make sure that young Kalani can go to the U.S., right? They've met several challenges, so she can't go to the U.S. yet. And then, of course, you know, I had to play this one.
For more information, contact We Noise TV at 929-445-4463. Or you can email us at wenoisetv@gmail.com. We Noise TV, the leading streaming provider. Anytime, anywhere, any screen. Access to your favorite HD contents with prices as low as ever. Choose from monthly, quarterly, or yearly payments. This worldwide service is flexible for you to keep up with all your favorite programs, shows, movies, and local programming from home no matter where you travel to. Worldwide TV channels right at your fingertips wherever you are. Latest in live sports, binge watch all your favorite TV shows, movies on demand, videos on demand. You can pause, rewind, fast forward anytime. Never miss 1 minute in entertainment important to you. No contracts, no added prices for sports or premium packages. We certainly don't have to pull tricks like cable and satellite companies. Our product speaks for itself and beyond. We Noise TV. We have everything like Netflix, Disney, Amazon. Watch your favorite movies, TV shows, and series with our services. With our service, you will get rid of all other subscriptions. For more information, contact We Noise TV at 929-445-4463, or you can email us at wenoisetv@gmail.com.
Yes, indeed.
For more information, contact We Noise TV.
Yeah, for more information, contact We Noise TV. I remember what he said. If you message and you haven't heard from him in 48 hours, give him a call. And folks, also remember the Friday night program and indeed the Sunday night program will be based on if we are able to collect donations towards it. It is not really something that is scheduled as such, and as such, your help is required in relation to that. We're not asking for more than 10 people to donate $5. That's all we're asking for, you know. Yeah, we didn't even get that last week. But for 10 people to donate at least $5, you see it's on the YouTube. You have the two ways you can do it. It's also on the Facebook. So you can either do it via the GoToFet, or you could do it in the chat on the YouTube as well. So folks, that's all the time we have for Talking Points tonight. It's been wonderful being here with you. In everything you say and do it safe and secure. Want to be speaking to and with you, and definitely not about you. Love each and every one of you, and we'll be back tomorrow night, burial anniversary, tomorrow night with you here on Talking Points, God's willing.